Welcome back. Let's talk about perfectionism. And this phrase that one of my clients just said on a coaching session, I was like, this is what we need to talk about on the podcast today. Perfectionism was never the expectation. We've talked about perfectionism on this podcast before, I think, and I always call myself a recovering perfectionist. And usually, when I give my keynotes or I give workshops and I'm talking around some of my different sessions that I give, and I usually will say that to people and they kind of laugh and I say, who in here are my fellow perfectionists? And usually, we have a good amount of people in the room who are. And so, I've talked about this before. But today I was coaching and I got off this client call. I was like, we need to talk about this on the podcast. I was coaching one of these clients. I've been working with her for about 6 months now. She was a manager level and is very successful in her role and was kind of on the docket for a potential promotion. Well, when we got on the call today, she just shared with me that she did in fact get the promotion to director. And this always comes with a wave of emotion. If you're somebody who is working on getting a promotion, you've gotten a promotion before, especially into an executive level or higher level leadership role, it comes with a lot of emotion because there's excitement, there's validation, there's like this new energy. And also at the same time, it comes with, if you've already had some self-doubt, imposter syndrome, perfectionism, gremlin, what do you call it in coaching, or inner critic, it is going to come out loud because you are now getting a spotlight put on you, more expectations, whether it's from other people, which that is part of the role, taking on more responsibility. Oftentimes it's really self-inflicted. And so she already was somebody who was pretty hard on herself, who always felt like she had to be quote unquote perfect. Everything she did, everything that she said had to be really calculated, was working a lot of hours. And so now to be put into this role, it can come with, again, this validation of like, okay, I guess I was doing the right thing, but also that, wow, now I have to prove myself even more pressure. And so we were talking through a couple things, and I talk to people about this a lot, whether you are growing in your leadership, whether you're growing in your business or your career, and this idea that you need to have it all figured out. Nobody has it all figured out, okay? Nobody has it all figured out, much less when you just started something new. You are putting expectations on yourself that nobody else typically is putting on you. Of course, there are some people that are going to be hard on you. There are some work environments or bosses or things like that are going to maybe not have the best approach to things, but in general, it's usually self-inflicted. And so I want to talk a little bit about if you're experiencing this and some of the things that we had an hour-long session talking through some specific situations on where she was really beating herself up, that she didn't word something exactly right. She wasn't really sure if a meeting that she ran went smoothly. She said it just didn't feel right. And so we really dug into like what didn't feel right about it. How were you feeling? How did you feel like the energy of the room was? What was the outcome from it? And what do you need to do now with that feeling in order for you to move through it? So we talked through a specific situation, and then we talked to just bigger picture. What can she learn from this situation, and how can she take the learnings that she got as we talked through it into future relationships and situations as she grows in this role? And one thing that she really started to realize, and I see this for a lot of people, is you are going into meetings, you are going into conversations, you're going into situations with people with so much pressure on yourself to get it exactly right and to be perfect and to prove yourself that it's almost like this self-fulfilling prophecy. You don't want people to think that you're not qualified or capable or that you don't know what you're doing. You want them to think you're confident, but you're going in there with all of this mind chatter and you're almost creating the reality that you don't want. You're creating the reality that you don't want because you are second guessing your every word, your every move, and you are coming off like you don't have the confidence. And so it's not that you aren't capable. It's not that people might not even innately think that you are capable. It's that your actions, the way that you are showing up, your energy is causing you to feel that way or for you to come off that way. And so as we talked through this, one of the things she realized, and I talk about a lot, is the thoughts that you have going into a situation and how is that thought going to get you closer to your result. If you go in thinking, I hope I don't mess up, what are they going to think about me? Am I even capable of doing this? You most likely are going in with really anxious energy or really self-doubt, or it's like this force, like pressure, you need to prove yourself. And so she realized how she was already starting to do that. And so instead, we talk about what is a more empowering thought going into that situation and coming up with phrases of like, I've got this. I was put in this position for a reason. I know what I'm talking about. And if there's something that I don't know, I know that I can figure it out. If you are going into a situation that's new for you, you might not fully have the confidence in the situation yet, but you can have confidence in yourself that you can figure it out. You have figured out everything in your life, in your career, up until this point. And if you are put in a situation where you don't have the answer, you will figure it out. You will phone a friend, you will get the resources to help you figure it out. And so I just started to see these like light bulb moments go off for her, and where she said, I really want to think about what type of leader I want to be, like create my leadership profiles, which she said, and really think about what type of leader I want to be. And then she dropped gold that I had her like sit with for a moment. She's like, I realized perfectionism was never the expectation. It wasn't the expect. She's like, I don't expect perfectionism out of anybody else. Here's an example. She said, people, I hear this a lot from people. They get worried about speaking on the spot. What if somebody asks me a question? I'm coaching another leader going through the same thing who's now leading peers. And she has this worry of like, what if I don't have the answer when someone asks me a question? I feel like I should know the answer. And this whole idea of like this anxiousness around saying like, let me get back to you on that. And so I challenged her and I said, okay, so when somebody else has done that in a meeting and they've said, I don't have that information for you, but let me dig into that and get back to you. How did you perceive it? And she's like, I actually really respect them. It makes me respect them even more to know that they're okay to say that and then that they're going to go and find the answer. And then again, to realize, wow, I can give myself permission to that. I don't expect anybody else to be perfect and have it all figured out. And so instead of perfectionism, we talked about this growth mindset and that you might not have all the answers, but you can figure it out. You probably are going to mess up, but you know that you can learn from it. And if you can go in with a humility and with seeing things as an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to grow, you are going to be leaps and bounds over the leaders and over the people who think that they do know everything or who expect themselves to be perfect. And then when they're not perfect, they have this like anxiousness and you don't even want to be around that energy anyways. Versus if you are the person who's showing up, realizing perfectionism is not the goal. Growth is the goal. Development is the goal. And that is going to take you so much further. And so this idea that, perfectionism is not the expectation, it is growth. Having that growth mindset, being willing to learn, being willing to mess up and learn from it, being willing to ask for feedback, that is the goal. In anything that you're doing, whether it's personal, whether it's professional in your career. And so give yourself permission to release and let go of the idea that it has to be perfect, whatever the heck that means anyways, because by the way, everyone's version of quote unquote perfect is going to look different. And in different situations, release the idea that that is the expectation and instead change it out with something else. For, maybe the growth mindset is right for you. Maybe it's how can I see this as an opportunity? How can I have fun? How can I learn? Whatever feels like it resonates with you, switch it out for something else and see how you show up differently to that goal. See how you are more creative, you have more excitement, you have more energy, you give yourself more freedom to try things, to explore things, to experiment with things, seeing how it's an opportunity to learn. And it is going to completely shift and it's going to catapult you into greater things because you're not confining yourself to the box of it has to look a certain way. So hopefully this message can carry you into this week and moving forward with what you have going on to release